I want to talk about PDFs today. I still create them, but I started asking a different question about them. In fact, I've created several PDFs this week, but I also think myself and maybe other creators are relying on them too much in this age of artificial intelligence. And that might sound contradictory, but it's not. PDFs are still useful. They're so easy to create, easier than ever, easy to download, and familiar to customers. So sometimes a printable checklist, a workbook, worksheets, posters, it's exactly what someone needs. So I'm not abandoning PDFs, that's for sure. They are still my bread and butter. I just no longer believe every single idea should become one, or I should look at old ideas and can I make them better? So for years when I had an idea, my first question was usually, how can I turn this into a PDF? And now I ask a different question. What does the customer need to do with this information? And that shift matters because information is readily available now. Someone can search Google, watch a video, or ask AI to explain almost any topic. They can generate a list, outline lesson plans, checklists, or a set of ideas in seconds. But this doesn't mean your knowledge has lost its value. It means that simply organizing information into a document may not be enough to create value for people anymore. The opportunity for creators now is to help people use the information. Let's say you have a system for helping someone plan a project. You could create a PDF explaining your process. The customer downloads it, reads the instructions, answers the questions, reviews all the options, and figures out what to do next. That could be helpful. But what if the customer entered their answers into a simple tool and received a very personalized plan? That information might be similar, but the experience is completely different. The PDF gives them the process, that's your knowledge, but the tool helps them complete the process. And that's the distinction I want creators to start thinking about. Customers don't always need more information. Sometimes they need help making a decision, choosing the right next step, organizing their answers, creating a plan, or applying that information you gave them to their specific situation. This is where your experience becomes incredibly valuable. Artificial intelligence, AI, can provide general information, but it does not automatically have your framework, your decision-making process, or the system you've developed from years of working with real people. That knowledge can become more than some people read. It can become something they use. So you might still create a PDF to introduce the topic, teach the foundational information, or give the customer something to print. But perhaps the next step could be a calculator, an assessment, a personalized recommendation tool, planning assistant, generator, interactive checklist. The list goes on. The goal is not to add technology just because you can. The goal is to remove work from your customer. So ask yourself, where does the customer usually get stuck? What decisions do they struggle to make? What parts of my process could be completed for them? Could I help them reach an answer faster? That's really important. Those questions may lead you back to a PDF, and that's completely fine. Like I said, I've made some this week. A coloring page, it should probably still be a printable. I make coloring pages. A poster, I make posters. They should be printables. A straightforward checklist might work perfectly as a PDF, but a personalized plan might work better as a tool. Some games, great, print them. They make a nice printable activity for kids, or could it be an interactive game? That's what I'm working on, and I'll share with you later in another video. So the format really just should follow the outcome. That's the question I'm asking about every new idea now. Not, can I make this into a PDF? I know I already can. I'm a whiz at PDFs. The better question is, what format would make this easiest and most useful for my customer base? Creators already have the hardest part. You have the knowledge, you have the experience, and you have the process. And now it's time to think beyond and package all that knowledge as information. Think about how you can turn it into action. If you have an idea, a PDF, a workbook, a framework that could become an interactive tool, try the Idea to Income tool at Action Lab HQ. Your knowledge, we build it, you own it. See you next time.